Have you been thinking about getting into Forex trading? Forex trading opens up a world of opportunity for those who know how to do it properly. You can experience financial freedom and reap tremendous rewards for your trading skills. Unfortunately, many programs make big promises and throw students into the trading market without the proper knowledge and expertise to succeed. Fortunately, there is a solution. Great White FX Academy is the best place to start your Forex trading journey with the tools, resources, and education necessary to help you thrive in the market. Great White FX is an online Forex training platform that provides technical training that will help you succeed. It is of the utmost importance to have a proper qualitative education to participate in Forex trading, and that is exactly what Great White FX focuses on. You can reach us on Facebook at Great White FX and Forex Educational Academy, on Instagram at Great White FX, on Twitter at Great White FX, or call us at 234-803-930-61888.
Hello, good evening all.
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. If you can hear me clearly, just type in yes into the chat box. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, just type yes into the chat box. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, just type yes into the chat box. So, good evening, everybody. Good evening. You're welcome to today's currency review with Great White FX for the 17th to the 21st of August 2020. So, without wasting so much of your time, let's get down to business and see what the week has for us. So as always, we're going to start with the economic calendar. So looking at the economic calendar for this week, it's not a high impact week. Majorly, you have more of minor impact than high impact. So we're going to have, there is OPEC meetings on Wednesday. This is a medium impact news you need to pay attention to. On Tuesday, 2:30 a.m. West Africa time, on the Aussie dollar monetary policy meeting minutes. Then you have on Friday, you have French services PMI. Also, others at 8:15, 8:30, we have German flash manufacturing PMI. This is going to affect the EURGBP mainly, and most, since it's going to affect the EURGBP, it will have a spillover effect on some other pairs. So that's what we have for the week. So without wasting so much of our time, let's get down into the week and see what we have on our chart. So let me make this white so that it's easy for everybody to basically see it. So, sorry, I think I need to give it the other color because this white is not always in my best interest. It affects my eyes. So, looking at the dollar index, we're going to start. Let me remove all I have marked. We're going to look at the weekly. If you look at the weekly, the dollar index is still on the downtrend. Okay, but we've had a bounce at this area. And if you look at this, is the upper weeks. That's this is 27th July low. And if you notice, we could say price has spiked below it and moved back above. So let me look at the monthly. Can I say that price spiked last month's low and closed back above it? Let's look at the dollar index. Yes, this is last month's low. That last month's low is coming in at 92.55, and we have 92.52. So that means that we've already had a spike below last month's low. That's what resulted in this bounce. If you now come into your daily time frame, you will notice that there's kind of like a reversal formation trying to take shape, but it hasn't yet fully taken shape. So which might be likened to like a bounce, but it's not yet fully taken shape. As you can see, two bullish engulfing candles back to back. But this might just be a bounce because this is a reversal signal, kind of, but there's no follow through. So we just need to wait and see what happens. So based on that, what are we going to do? Go down into our 4-hour time frame, lay out our levels. So when you do that, as long as price stays above 92.93, there is a tendency that price may move higher. That's last week's low. As long as price stays above 92.93 on the dollar index, there is a tendency that we might see a higher move on the dollar index. So although the dollar index is still in a downtrend, it's in a sideways consolidation for now. And based on what we have, formation we have on the daily, back-to-back bullish candles, there is a tendency we might see a move higher this coming week, as long as price stays above 92.93. So the next pair we're going to look at is gold. So looking at gold, let me remove all this. Looking at gold, gold has been skyrocketing, has been reaching for the skies, reaching for the moon. But there seems to be, I wouldn't say with a heavy profit, maybe profit taking, but as you can see, last week candle closed as a bearish engulf. But it has a bullish undertone in the sense that it did not close near its low. It didn't close near its low. That's just one other factor. So although this is a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly, which is a bearish signal, since price didn't close near its low, it means that we might see a little bit of correction into this body, into this range before a move lower on gold. So as you can see, this was the daily candle on Friday. This is Friday's candle. You can see very, very small candle. So looking at this, how are you going to trade this? Gold is still, excuse me, hello, can you guys still hear me? Hello? Can you guys still hear me? A minute, please. My power source just went out. Let me sort it out. Patient. Okay, so sorry for the delay. My power source just went off, so I had to go sort it out. So looking at gold, if we pull back our hello, can you guys still hear me? Okay, sorry. So looking at gold, in my opinion on gold, this all-time high at 1921 is a support level on gold. As long as gold does not close on the daily below it, gold has a tendency to try to test this previous month's high at 1983.10. That's just my belief on gold, because if you look at gold, let me remove everything I have here. If you look at gold, last month's high came in at 1983.10, and you see price spiked above it and closed back below that high. So it points to the fact that we might see a bit of a correction, but eventually price might move back lower. We might see a bit of a move back lower on gold. So for now, although gold is still bullish, in the context that we have at hand, there is a tendency that price may move lower. There is a tendency that price may move lower on gold. There is a tendency that price may move lower on gold. So you might just see an up move. So these are the levels you just need to pay attention to on gold. So once any of these levels reject gold, there is a tendency it might continue down, because there is structure at this area that price has taken out. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the EURUSD. So looking at the EURUSD, let me get all these off so that we can basically look at it. On the monthly view, the EURUSD is still slightly bullish. It's still bullish, very still bullish for now. Although last month's high came in at 1.1908, the high so far we have this month is 1.1916. So price has spiked last month's high and closed back below it. So if we then go to our weekly, we can see that this is an expansion, and we might be looking at a little bit of consolidation here. So if you drop down to your 4-hour time frame, how are you going to trade this? You put in your levels on your 4-hour time frame. When you put in your levels on your 4-hour time frame, this is your range high, your previous month's high is your range high, and this is your range low, last week's low. So on this pair, I would suggest that you wait for it at last week's high. If it gets rejected from there, then you might see it come down to structure at this area. You might see it come down to structure at this area, or it might try to spike above this high here at 1.1916. So for now, the EURUSD, as you can see, is bullish, but it is in a sideways consolidation. So the critical level here to pay attention to is 1.1695. As long as price stays above here, there is a tendency to continue moving lower. But should price fail below here, when I mean fail, price breaks, retest, and moves lower, then we might have a change of scenario on the EURUSD. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the GBPUSD. So looking at the GBPUSD, you can evidently see this pair is still bullish. Although, if you look at it on the daily time frame, it has gone into a bit of a consolidation, as you can see here. But this pair has a bullish move. This is an expansion, and this is a sideways consolidation. So now the question is, if you move down to your 4-hour time frame, this is what you're looking at. So this is your support level. That's last week's low at 1.3005. This is a psychological level. Then these are your levels of resistance. But there's one thing you must understand. In a bullish market, resistance levels will be broken to the upside. As you can see, this is last month's high. That's what you have by this previous month's high here. Price ran into it, and there was a drop in price, as you can see. So now the question is, will price retest this area again or try to drop? So that's what we can see for now. But for the GBPUSD, still bullish as long as price stays above 1.2980. So this is your line in the sand. If this level gives way, then it's down move. This is the move south on the GBPUSD. The next pair we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. This pair is a bit confused. It's kind of like confused. It's not giving a straight move, it's more in a consolidation, as you can see. But if you look to your left, it's consolidating within this range. It hasn't been able to move above this high here at 1.9189. So this is just a consolidation, and a consolidation, you just have to be very careful. What do you do in a consolidation? You look for the range highs and the range lows. So if we look at this pair now, if we look at this pair, this is the range high, 0.9148, and this is the range low. That's the most critical ones. Then if you come in, you have last week's high coming in here and last week's low. So should price move above here, and I mean price move above here, should you see something like this, then you know price is going to move higher. But should you see something like this, price spikes, comes back below, does this, then you might be seeing a move to the downside. So these are just the possible scenarios on this pair, but for now, this pair has no directional bias for now. It's more in a consolidation, as you can see. If you zoom out, it's very, very clear. It's more in a consolidation. And when price is in a consolidation, you just need to know your extreme levels and trade from those points for added advantage. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBPCHF. For this GBPCHF, I'm still of the opinion that we might be looking at a bullish trend, but it's not showing steam, as can be seen from the weekly time frame. As you can see, wicks to the top side. We still have wicks to the top side. So that points to the fact that we might be seeing a little bit of weakness on this pair. So as you can see, last week's candle closed as with an upper wick. So if you go into your weekly time frame, it's like it's more of a range. So looking at this, how are you going to play this out? As long as price stays above last week's low at 1.1871, it may move to the upside. But should this level give way, then price may be coming down towards this area. So when I mean by should this level give way, something like this, then you have a move up. So that's just it on this pair. The same thing, if you look at the EURGBP and the GBPCHF, they have similarities. So the next pair we're going to look at is the AUDUSD. This pair is still bullish, if you ask me, but it's showing a loss of momentum to the upside. So you can see on the weekly candles are becoming very, very small bodied with wicks to the upside. Very, very small bodied with wicks to the upside. So if you go down to the daily time frame, you could see wicks, nothing major, but this bearish engulfing candle is still holding. This one also is still there. This one is still there. So from my experience, when you start seeing candles like this, it shows that there's going to be a drop, but that's loss of momentum, which points to the fact that price may tank anytime soon. But you just need to be careful with your longs. But for now, in the absence of any solid bearish reversal pattern, this pair is still bullish. So how are you going to treat that? This is last week's high. This is last week's low. So if price comes to this previous week's high and gets rejected, then you know it's going to come back into the range. And if you look at the range for the week is not much. The range for the week is just 58 pips. So it's not much. So you just need to wait probably for a breakout to either side. That's just it. So for the critical level on this pair, if you're looking at this pair, the critical level on this pair is 0.7063. As long as price holds above this high, it has a tendency to still move higher. So the next pair we're going to look at is EURAUD. Looking at the EURAUD, I can say this pair is struggling. This is a bounce, but it hasn't got much strength. It bounced. You can see this long weekly candle, but it hasn't got much strength. this level here, 1.6550, is giving it a bit of a challenge. So how do you play this? Drop down to your 4-hour time frame. This is what you have here. As long as Friday's level holds, there is a tendency this price may try to break this level. But should this Friday's low give way, then you're going to look at something like this. So that's just the scenario we have here. And if you notice on this pair, you have wicks on both sides. So a lot of indecision. So you just need to be careful with this pair. The next pair we're going to be looking at is a New Zealand Aussie dollar. So looking at this pair still has a bullish bias. You can see, but just a little bit of correction. It ran into structure here. You can see it's a massive structure. So that's where it ran into. So it's reacting from that level. And if you look at it, that's what you have here on the daily. This is a failed swing. If you look at it, it's a lower leg M formation. So, but there's a bounce here showing you that they are buyers at 0.6524. So how are you going to trade this pair coming into the new week? As long as this previous week's low hold, there is a tendency price may try to move higher. Do you get? So I'm of the opinion it may try for this level here because this is a neckline. This area is very, very important. So you need to note this level as well. It's what I'll call a neckline resistance. That's how I'll call a neckline resistance. So because price may do this, may come in here, break above here, test here, hit this, then drop back down. So you need to be aware of that. So as long as this level here, sorry about this, as long as this level here at 0.6524 holds within the week, there is a tendency price may try to move higher. So that's just it. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the USDJPY. Looking at the USDJPY, well, last month's candle is bearish, as you can see. So this bullish move might just be a retracement into the body of this candle to move lower. That's just the way I see it. If you look at it on the daily, on the weekly, it closed bullish, which means that we might be looking at a little bit of a higher move. But if you look at the daily now, it's very, very clear where the level is. This is the level here on the USDJPY. And if you look at this, this is an evening star formation. An evening star formation. So how are you going to trade this? Well, there's an M formation here. You can see, you see it. Then that neck formation has its neckline at this area. Neckline resistance. So we'll note that level. That's my neckline resistance. Note that level. Then on the other hand, you can pick your fib since it has a wide range, and like this. Then you wait for price. I'm sorry, let's remove that. You wait for price. So if price runs into this level, 106.69 and gets rejected, then you can trade price down to this 50% or this 62 range. But note that there is structure here. There's structure here. So this place might really, price may really come in for this area before trying to move higher. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the USD Jpy, Euro Yen. Looking at the Euro Yen from a monthly point of view, this pair we can say is very bullish. Well, it is at a monthly structure. As you can see here, this is a monthly structure that price is in at the moment. And if you look at it, it's not very visible on the weekly, it's very visible on the monthly. If you look at this pair, this is the formation on the daily. So this pair for now is still bullish. Doesn't mean you can't take a short position. But if you want to continue with the trend, I will advise you wait for a bullish You wait for price to dip. You wait for price to pull back, continue moving higher, then you join the trend. So where are those levels you're going to find? One such level is here. Or better still, you pick your fib only on the weekly range. That's a high to the low of last week's movement. Sorry. Then, as you can see, price rejected of the 50. So price may rally up a bit. If it starts to drop, your first level is 50% and this area here. This area here. So on the euro yen, this is a vital level 124.43. As long as price stays above this level, price has a tendency to keep moving higher. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the pound yen. So looking at the pound yen, let's look at it from the monthly view. If we look at the pound yen from the monthly view, it's still bullish. As you can see, it's still above last month's high, but it spiked above this high here and dropped back below. It should be very, very clear on the weekly. If you look at it on the weekly, this is that level here. That level comes in, that's the comes in at 139.74. You see, price spiked it and dropped, but the move is not massive. The move is not massive. The drop is not so massive. So this pair is still bullish. If you ask me, I'm of the opinion, doesn't mean you can't take a down move, but to stay with the prevailing trend, you just need to wait for dips, then go long. So you could do this on the weekly, then you just watch for price to dip to maybe the 50% or 62, then it might continue higher. So that's just it. This pair is still bullish, so you'll be looking for dips to go to continue with the trend. So the last pair I'm going to be looking at is USDCHF. So looking at the USDCHF, let's look at it from the monthly view. You can see it has spiked below last month's low. As you can see, it's very evident here. Failure to move to sustain that break. That's what I referred as that to. Then if you look at price on the weekly setup, you have wicks to the downside. You see, you have spikes to the downside, which means that there's a reluctancy to move lower on this pair. Sorry. So which shows that there's a reluctancy to move higher on this pair for now, because this is that previous month's high, as you can see. Sorry. I have the wrong chart for. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the USDCHF. So as you can see, there's a reluctancy to move lower. So this pair overall is still on the downside. You can see it's still on the downside. But let's go down to the 4-hour. This is what we have here. So as long as price stays above this level here at 90.54, this temporary low, then we might see a move to the upside. But what will tell you that there's a change in the trend is when you have this 92.41 broken to the upside. That's when you have something like this. Price moves however it decides to move. Once you have something like this, then you know you have a shift in bias on this pair. So that is it for this review. Anybody with any pair they would want me to look at before I call it the night? Anybody with any pair you would want me to look at, you can type it into the chat box before I call it the night, so that I can conclude the video. Hello, are you guys there? Wall Street 30. Yes. Wall Street 30. So let's look at Wall Street 30. So looking at Wall Street 30, let's get a bigger view of price. Start from the monthly. This pair is bullish, like I said last week. This pair is bullish, but where he is, you'll be cautious about taking longs. The structure where he is, you'll be careful about taking longs here. Then, if you look at it on the daily, this is the scenario we had here. But I don't think most of you trade the US 30 on the daily time frame. So let's look at it from the 4-hour and 1-hour time. So we don't have a range here yet. But as you can see, there seems to be something holding price here. So on this pair, this seems to be like the resistance coming in here. Now, as you can see, price is just like respecting that area, and this seems to be a support level. It's still bullish. It's still bullish. So if you ask me, you're better off taking moves to the upside. So you have structure here, you have structure here. You have structure in this area. Then you have structure down here. As you can see why price is having a tough time here. There's major structure here. And if you observe this big candle, price has been dancing within its range. They failed to break to the upside. So I'm of the opinion, if they need to continue their bullish move, they need to create a false move here. What is asking is the move on the EURGBP, not a bullish reversal. Do you see any bullish, major bullish move on the last month's candle? This last month's candle. This month's candle for now. This candle, this is not a bullish move. If you look at this, this is a range move. Although it seems to be creating higher highs, if you look at it by your candles, it's just ranging. So this pair is in a consolidation. See, it's in a consolidation. You have a high here that is still standing. You have another high, a lower high here that is still standing. So this pair is just in a consolidation. If you ask me, I'll wait for the extreme levels on this pair. That is what I'll do. So any other pair, the person that asked for the US 30, I hope I was able to explain things to you. If you look at the US 30, if you go down to the 1 hour, let me go back the levels here. If you go to the 1 hour, there's this massive range card. So this is where you pay attention. So I don't trade Euro card and I don't analyze it. So these are the this is just what you need to pay attention to. So if price comes in here and fails again, and you might take a short position, as this is where it's dancing within. So that's just it. So I thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish you all a beautiful week ahead. This is, if you wish to reach across to me, this video will be posted on the YouTube channel, Plan Your Trade, Trade Your Plan. So you could go there to watch it. This is my Telegram. This is my Telegram handle. This is my WhatsApp handle. If you want to easily access the page, you can use the YouTube handle, the Instagram handle. This is my Twitter, and these are my Facebook pages. The video link would also be posted on the Facebook and on my Twitter handle. So if you go to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, subscribe and click the like button if you found the video helpful. It goes a long way in motivating us to keep doing more. So thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and a blessed trading week ahead. Thank you all.